Good day and welcome to this, our first edition of Saint Sports here on We Digital Productions. And we're going to check in with the newest team at the college, the St. Clair Fratmen. Of course, week number 3 completed in the Ontario Football Conference, and it was the second game of the season for the home team, Fratmen. Historic night at Acumen Field, and what a great game it was. The Fratmen prevail, knocking off one of their biggest rivals in the OFC, the London Beefeaters, 29-22. They grab possession of first place. Joining us on the broadcast, we hope to have him every week. He's a pretty busy guy, the head coach of the St. Clair Fratmen, Coach Mike LaChance. Thanks for doing this with us, Coach LaChance. Great to see you, and I'm guessing Sunday football was that much better for you after the game Saturday night.
Yeah, it was a lot more enjoyable, that's for sure.
Let's go right at this game, Coach LaChance. Even though it was only your second game of the season and we're only in week 3, this game could have long-lasting implications when we get down later into the schedule. How important was this game for you and your team, and did you emphasize it to your players?
I mean, we talked about the importance of it. The veteran players certainly didn't need to hear that. They knew how important it was when you play a team home and home. And then most likely going to play them in the playoffs at some point. So it's relatively important. Importance of winning first home was pretty well, no matter what.
Obviously, Coach LaChance, packed stadium. I believe the limit was 1120 with the COVID restriction. I'm sure we would have filled the entire stadium up, but this has been coming for a few years now for you and Coach Morency to get a really solid, good home base. You have it now, and to see that kind of crowd and have that kind of atmosphere. I know you're right into your coaching on the sideline, but you had to feel and sense some of that crowd there that night.
Yeah, you could really feel the energy, and I think a couple of days ago after assistant coach, national, and boy, 1,100 players, a lot more because really loud. They're supportive, so it was great to see. More than always represent.
All right, Coach, we're a little bit intermittent. Hopefully we can continue this. I want to get this in. Let's talk about the energy. You had mentioned your veteran players, and maybe we go back a couple of years where you did play. Obviously, the last time you saw London was the championship game, and they came into Windsor and won a championship. I'm sure you didn't have to remind your veteran guys about that.
No, but we did.
Okay, well,
a lot. And I think I've said this is the last time I'm going to talk about it. A lot of practices. So it's been a more competitive group. We've been in the OFC Final 9 out of the last 10 years. So when we play football, we expect to win big. So it really has sat with us hard since 2019. Yeah, we have that.
You got off to a good start. I mean, the team played well. Well, I think throughout the entire game. I mean, obviously, London's still a very good squad, and there's a reason why they're the defending champions. Got to give them their due. But you got off to a great start. How important was that through the game, even though London managed to come back, tie it up, and obviously you prevailed afterwards. But the start, were you happy with that? And I guess leading into it from practice, everything you had worked on, how was the execution that way?
Yeah, execution was actually pretty good, especially early in the year. It's about as good as you could hope for. We gave up no sacks, one quarterback hurry on offense, and defensively we had 6 or 7 sacks and a whole bunch of pressure. So you always look for those things early in the year. I think if there's a downside, we had way too many penalties, and I think that allowed London to stay, especially early when we could.
Talk to me, Coach LaChance, about London and the preparation for them, and of course they have some pretty dynamic players there that I'm sure you noted to your players. when you look at these two lineups, they match up pretty good. And as you mentioned, and I always believe what you tell me, Coach LaChance, but I think you're correct in saying we'll see these guys again, not only during the regular season, but pretty much in the playoffs. The matchup with these guys and taking care of what they do so well.
Yeah, it's been a couple different coaches now over the last couple of years, but there's certainly no quit. That things remained the same. They're a very, very resilient group. If you get up on them by a couple touchdowns, the game's certainly not out of reach. They can come back. They've got some explosive athletes. And defensively, we're very concerned about that defensive front with that linebackers led by McRoberts. Very explosive group, and they showed it, and I did a fairly good job. But they certainly group. We'll be concerned about them.
Of course, you went up a couple of touchdowns, as you alluded to there, Coach, and they found a way to come back in the fourth quarter, tied it up at 22, setting up the heroics. But how do you felt your team reacted when they did come back and when they were coming back? Not even to the point where they had tied the game, they had pulled to within a touchdown. How did you feel that your team was reacting? Were you happy with the way they did?
Yeah, I think the guys were more angry than anything at ourselves. I know Michael was very angry at himself for throwing that six, allowed them to. So, and then big play. So I think we were looking around here, not so much point that all more happened. Michael often weren't afraid to fall back for to like. And our guys weren't afraid of the big moment.
Brandon McCready created that big moment. Take me back to that, and boy, oh boy, talk about a stadium just lighting up, and I couldn't believe how loud it was, even though we were outside, and just a great moment, really.
Yeah, you know what? In that play, second play, we run a high post with a curl combo on the front side of that. We we talked about it with Michael, our ex-coach. About it with Mike. Talked about it, sizing the ball in space. Fellow receiver blocks down the field. On that one, those are like Brent. I think most touched it. He was ball every week.
All right, Coach. I apologize. We're really losing you at points here. I know you're saying some great and very important things. One last question. We'll wrap this up because we're obviously having a little bit of audio trouble. But unfortunately, and I'm sure the guys are disappointed. I don't know if you've told the guys. I'm sure they've heard by now. The game against Hamilton this Saturday is going to be postponed. It'll be rescheduled, I believe, in November. That means you get another bye week, so that means 2 out of the last 3 weeks of bye week football for you. We kind of went through this, a couple of years ago, where there were teams that didn't show up, things like that. At this point in the schedule, how tough is that, Coach?
You know what? After 18 years, I don't think anything new can hit. They'll roll with it. Our guys, they'll roll with it. They'll get off this week, no matter when. So it doesn't. I don't think it's about this.
All right, good stuff, Coach. Appreciate you giving us some time here today. I know you're busy, but congrats on the start here. You got the guys playing some great football. I'm so happy for you and Coach Morency to have a place like St. Clair, and it's well deserved. And look forward to some more victories and talking about them here. Okay.
Thanks, Tom. I appreciate it.
All right, that's head coach Mike LaChance on the first edition of Saint Sports. Coming up this week, speaking of Saint Sports, on Friday evening, we're going to have a couple of games for you with a couple of different teams at the college. Women's fastball will debut at their new stadium, so you want to check that out. Also here on We Digital, we'll have a link for you. And men's and women's soccer will also debut this coming Friday here on We Digital. We'll have a link for that as well for you. We'll have both those games live here on the We Digital network, and we hope you can join us for us. Very busy time for Saints sports, and we'll be checking in with all those groups as well, the Fratmen football team throughout the year. So stay tuned to us here at We Digital Productions, and we'll keep you up to date with the green and gold over there at St. Clair College. But for now, that's it for today's edition of Saint Sports. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll check back in with you soon. Until then, take care, stay safe, and have a great day.